So just enter the link into the browser that I gave to you, and it'll just take you to Zoom on the browser and to the meeting all at the same time. You know what I mean?
That's exactly what I did, but it took me here.
Oh,
So I find that Macintosh, Apple computers, they have so many steps for everything. Yeah. So it's got hoops and you have to keep jumping.
Meeting ID. This is like my ID or something.
no, it's a meeting ID. You shouldn't need a meeting ID either, but
Oh,
should be here. Let's see.
when you click on the link, it doesn't send you. It doesn't take you
Directly, I guess not.
All right, that's why the app works well. I don't know how. Where I can get meeting ID.
Okay, let's see something. I think I'm not connecting actually right now.
I was connecting.
Yes.
You're connected through his phone though, but not through the PC.
Okay. You're in the meeting?
Turn up the mic is on because I heard my voice.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello?
We're here for that mic.
Was this mic?
Oh, maybe. No, because your PC mic. Yeah, I think it's that. So are you
Hold on.
see on my side I turn off speaker? You have speaker on?
Wait, let me mute my mic and then you can.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but thank you.
No.
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 Oh, no.
No, it's there. Okay.
Okay, so here.
There must be a way we can get rid of the echo.
You would turn down the volume and turn off speakers. Well, like you see what I did? Like I'm going to a different tab. You might be in a different tab. Like the caller tab.
Okay.
Testing. Yeah, okay.
Okay, now we have 1 minute to go. We can get started.
Perfect.
Yeah, we just about to get started. So
go to
Frida, we ready to get started?
The regular browser, the internet.
Hello, Frida.
Yes, hello.
All right, now I think we can get started. So, just brief introduction. Today, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for being here. Today is the third week Actuate meetup for Actuate Society for Decentralized Science, ASDS, Actuate Society for Decentralized Science. The topic of discussion today is launching public education, massive public education on blockchain, particularly in Africa. Blockchain is not well understood, and people do not know what is blockchain, why it is here, and how to use it. And so in Actuate, we have formed what's called Actuate Academy. And the Actuate Academy is the entry point for blockchain education. And so Frida is going to walk us through what is Actuate Academy, how it works, and how you can get involved. Now, as a person who is participating from everywhere in this world, you have opportunity for sponsoring learners in developing countries to learn blockchain through the Actuate Society of Decentralized Science. And so Frida is going to talk also briefly about the Actuate Society of Decentralized Science and your opportunity for participation in blockchain education in your community. Because I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that like blockchain is here with us. It's not going away. And we can, since blockchain is a technology that's already with us, we are better off learning it or not. If we don't learn it, that we have no one to blame. So Frida, take the floor and tell us what you have today about Actuate Academy and public education.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Masharia. Welcome everyone to our meeting today. And so I'm going to share my screen so that you can see the presentation. Just a minute. All right. Yes, so today we're going to present about how Actuate Academy is empowering the decentralized finance future, a decentralized future. And we're going to start with looking at our vision. Yes, so our vision is to create a future-ready, skilled population capable of leading blockchain adoption, especially in sectors like healthcare and science. So we focus on accessible, practical, and impactful education. And our mission is to deliver comprehensive, cutting-edge, and accessible educational programs, cryptography, and tokenization. And we want to foster a vibrant community of learners and contributors. And then lastly, we want to equip our students with practical skills and a deep understanding of the underlying principles, enabling them to build, deploy, and strategically leverage decentralized technologies to solve real-world problems. And so the problem we want to solve is that even though blockchain is evolving fast, most of sectors lack professionals who can translate it to its potential and put it into practice. And the Actuate Academy helps fill this gap. Yeah, so there's a demand in a rising demand in DeFi, Web3, and tokenization, and yet we find that a few professionals with domain-specific blockchain knowledge. So it means that when you go to sectors, let's say in like healthcare sector, you'll find that most people do not know about blockchain or even decentralized finance. Yeah, so we want to solve that. And so, and lastly, most of our current training lacks depth and real-world relevance. So the purpose of the Actuate Academy is that we aim to demystify blockchain, and we want to also train globally competitive professionals and also build solutions in healthcare, biotechnology, and science. We also want to promote ethical and privacy respecting DeFi adoption. And why does it matter? Number one is because Web3 enables careers and economic mobility. Number two, it drives health and science innovation. Number three, it builds decentralized problem solvers. And number four, it expands access to high value skills. Yeah, so our program, we want to transform lives by equipping participants with tools to thrive in the decentralized economy and also to solve urgent real world problems. Next, we're going to look at courses and the pricing. Yeah, so the first one is the blockchain basics level. And here you get the introduction to blockchain, its architecture, the key components, and yeah, so to learn the blockchain basics level, you don't need to have any experience in blockchain. Yeah, so you come and we introduce you to blockchain at a fee of $250. And then next we have intermediate blockchain training. And so here you get topics like smart contracts and also decentralized finance basics. Yeah, and also you get to learn more about Ethereum. So this one you need some prior blockchain experience. So you can't learn intermediate without first knowing about the basics of blockchain. That's so the intermediate training costs $550. And so next we have the advanced blockchain one. And so here we learn in-depth study of protocol, security, governance, and decentralized application architecture. Yeah, and so as we said, this is a tiered course, so you need to have known the basics knowledge of blockchain. You also need some intermediate training so that you can get to the advanced blockchain one. Yes, and the advanced blockchain one is $2,500. And then next, we have the advanced blockchain 2, or what you're calling tokenization of real world assets. And so here you learn how to tokenize assets like real estate, health data. You can even tokenize infrastructure, yeah, and intellectual property, yeah, using blockchain. And so for the tokenization of real world assets, the price is also $2,500. So next, we're going to look at what you gain by enrolling to the Actuate Academy. And the first one is that you get career boosting skills and certification. You also get access to global mentors and experts. And also you get entry into high-paying Web3 jobs. And then next, you also get to join a community of change makers, so you become part of the Actuate community. And then lastly, you contribute to open source and social impact. Yeah, so there's in our previous sessions, we talked about the Actuate Society, and now we're talking about the Actuate Academy. So there's a distinct difference between the two, and this table highlights that. Yeah, so as you can see, the academy is responsible for education and training, and the society is responsible for sponsorships. So we said previously, we said that when it comes to the Actuate society, we can have sponsors who pay some money to be part of the society, and this money goes towards sponsoring people in the Actuate Academy. Yeah. And so next we have in the Actuate Academy, we have blockchain students, while in the society we have members or donors or sponsors. And then in the Actuate Academy, you get certification, and in the Actuate Society, you get to be part of a society that is building a decentralized future. And so when it comes to the Actuate Academy, you get classes, and also you get to build your own projects at the end of the courses. Yeah, and so the Actuate Society, you get to fund these people who are building these projects, and you get also to be a mentor and a leader, which we'll look at as we go towards the end of the presentation. You'll be able to see how that works. So next, how the Actuate Academy works is that we have a tiered curriculum. And in this tiered curriculum, we give you hands-on projects to complete. Yeah, so it needs you to be applied. You get questions, you get projects, you get all the material that you need to learn about blockchain. And so we are also doing this online. Yeah, we're going to do this online, and also, if need be, we can do in-person meetups. So it's a hybrid type of system. And then next, we'll have instructors, expert instructors from science and technology sector. And then next, after completing the courses, you get certification. And lastly, you become, after you finish the courses, you can opt to become an alumni and also support the other people or the juniors who will be joining the Actuate Academy. Yeah, so you also get a mentorship opportunity. And for the junior members, you get to be part of a mentorship community. And so how we're going to do this is in 3 phases. Yeah, we have phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. And phase 1 is going to happen in the first year. And here is when we launch the basics and intermediate courses. And also we form the Actuate Society, which we are doing right now. And in phase 2, that is going to happen between years 2 and 3. And here you get the advanced courses. Yeah, so we've said we have 2 advanced levels. We have level 1 and level 2. And we also want to, in this phase, we also want to expand to more African countries. Yeah. And then next we have the phase 3, that is between year 4 going forward. That's where we get global recognition. Yeah, that means we'll be admitting everyone globally. And we also launch enterprise training and also some research and development. And so next, we're going to look at what success looks like for the Actuate Academy. Yeah, so what success looks like is that we want to have professionals who are skilled in smart contracts and decentralized applications. We also want, at the end of this, we want to have decentralized solutions in healthcare and science. And then we also want to have certified contributors to the Web3 ecosystem. And then lastly, I think we want to grow the African blockchain economy. Yeah, so this is not about individuals, so it's about creating systems change through education and decentralized funding. So who can join the Actuate Academy? Yeah, so we are welcoming developers, engineers, healthcare and science professionals, entrepreneurs, yeah, all startups. If you want to learn about blockchain, we can take you through that and how to maybe even fund your startup. So researchers, if you want to fund your project, you can just enroll and learn how blockchain works. And you can be able to fund your projects using decentralized finance. And also investors, if you want to learn how blockchain works and what impact you can make in using blockchain, yeah, you're also welcome. So basically everyone is welcome. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned professional or even just a beginner, just maybe you're just curious about blockchain and decentralized finance, you can enroll to the Actuate Academy. So next, we're going to look at the Actuate Society. Yeah, as I had mentioned earlier, we have different tiers when it comes to the Actuate Society, depending on the number of learners maybe you've sponsored or your contribution. Yeah, and the first one is you can become a member of the Actuate Society of Decentralized Finance. And you can do this through investing 2,500, and that will sponsor 10 learners. And from that, you get society recognition. Next, we have chief. And so you get that title from investing $5,000, and that sponsors 20 students to the Actuate Academy. And with that, you get society recognition plus research insights. Next, we have the premier, and then you can do that by sponsoring 40 learners, and that's an investment of $10,000. And so you get all the benefits of the membership plus grant governance privileges. And then our final tier is the Patron, and you can do that by sponsoring 80 learners. And that's an investment of $20,000. And so you get all the benefits of the membership premier, plus digital fellowships and leadership features. Or you can basically sponsor as many learners as you want. There's no limit to this. Yeah. So as you've seen, sponsorship makes our work possible. Yeah, by doing that, you empower learners, and also with that, you also gain Actuate tokens. So you get an equivalent amount of Actuate tokens to the amount in dollars you've sponsored. Yeah, so if you've sponsored 2,500, you get 2,500 Actuate tokens. Yeah, so this is your invitation to take part in something bigger. So let's educate our next generation of blockchain leaders together. So thank you very much. That's the end of my presentation. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post them in the chat or raise your hand and unmute. I think with that, I'm going to invite Dr. Masharia for additional remarks. So welcome, Doc.
Thank you so much, Frida. Just confirm I'm audible. Am I audible, Frida?
Yes, yes.
All right, excellent. So I'm here in Boston. I'm with the Custom Business Innovation Center, and I'm with Jonathan, and I'm also with Jose Rodriguez. So we're two of us here, and I'm sure I'm also excited to meet all you guys who are online with us. So there it is. So Frida has told us about two things: Actuate Academy itself, which is an opportunity for massive blockchain education, and Actuate Society for Decentralized Science, which is a legacy system that enables you to participate in sponsoring people in your community who you would love to learn blockchain. And I think the important question is, why is it important for you to learn blockchain, for anyone to learn blockchain today, particularly in Africa? Let's say Africa, and of course the rest of the world matters too, because as we have said in the two previous presentations, is that the blockchain is the internet of economic freedom. Economic freedom, what you call economic justice. For the first time in the history of mankind, we have something called economic justice. So today, the way traditional finance is, it has no economic justice. It categorizes people in two groups: those people who are in finance, and those people who are outside finance. People outside finance are called extra-legals. Those people are in the third world. If you're living in Africa, that's where you are. You are extra-legal. That indicates that you're a squatter of the finance system. Only until decentralized finance came, which now has the promise of getting every single one of us into the center of the finance, decentralized finance. So this become decentralized, that finance become accessible to everybody. So in decentralized finance, there is no third world. There's no one who is a squatter. And then the value that you produce every day, the value of your work, gets codified, tokenized, represented, and tradable, can be sold. And not just that value, the value of things that could ever not even be counted before, things like faith, hope, charity. Those things now becomes codifiable and countable. And that's why it's really important for everyone to learn blockchain. And blockchain, you can say, is the third iteration of the internet. You know, the second iteration, we got the right web, which gave us WhatsApp. It gave us LinkedIn, gave us, let's say, social media. And so you could write your thoughts freely, share with everybody in the world. But all that thing that you're sharing with everybody in the world is still owned by some people, several companies. We call them the masters of the universe of information science. Companies like Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, they own everything. So you can be a creator. You create your own YouTube, you have your own YouTube channel, but Google still controls the algorithm. See? However, in the Web3, the decentralized finance, all that power of you yourself as a creator becomes handed to you, you become the sovereign owner of your own creation. Okay, so that now that's why it's called decentralized finance. That whatever you create, it's not owned by a third-party company. There is no intermediary. It's you by yourself. You create whatever you want, and then you own it. Like become the sovereign individual. So Web3, the blockchain is the internet of sovereignty, and that's why it's important for you to learn. Now, why are we talking about doing it in Africa? Africa, it was been left behind because, of course, it's totally extra legal, outside finance, extra legal, and people are unbanked. Like 60 to 70%, particularly of the women in Africa, are unbanked, and of course, they cannot even find themselves into the finance system because of what you call the roadblocks they're put there. But in decentralized finance, everybody, including the traditional unbanked people, are going to get into finance through decentralized finance. And that is great, great empowerment. But it is a technology. It's a technology. Technology requires that you learn it. Okay? You learn it. Now the blockchain has got 3 things that you need to understand. One thing is the fundamentals of the blockchain, and that we teach it in the academy. Blockchain level 1, blockchain basics. Everybody must know the fundamentals, like what I've just told you, like what the theory, what does it do, so that you can actually use it with great comfort. Then you need to learn something called cryptographic principles. That's what a public key, what's a private key, what does it do for you? The private key is your sovereignty, is your key to sovereignty. But then that private key points to public key, and you need to understand that how that works. That requires you to come to somebody to train you. It's not very complicated, but you need to be trained because you cannot know something that you have not been taught. You cannot know anything without getting taught. So that is cryptographic principles. What is private key? What's public key? What does it mean for you? And you're going to learn that in the blockchain basics class. And then finally, real world applications, real uses, things like real estate, tokenization of real estate, tokenization of intellectual property, tokenization of, you name it, equipment. Yeah, like you have housing, you have in your building, you have a house, you've got televisions there, you've got furniture. You can tokenize all those things that you create a third-party representation. If now that makes it possible, just understanding that principle, tokenizing means that representing that value of those things, plus then tokenization of hope, tokenization of love, like motherhood, as we have talked about here last week, that women get pregnant or they conceive a baby which is something of great value. She carries that baby to term all the way for 9 months. Nobody cares. Then she goes to labor, she delivers, she goes into labor, and that's called work. Labor is work. But that labor is not recognized. We say, oh, she's in labor now, okay? So then she is in labor, she delivers to us a bundle of joy. And I told you last week that if it was FedEx delivering to you a bundle of joy, you would be so happy to pay for the delivery process. As a woman, when she delivers a baby, who pays her? Except she could get baby showers, that kind of nonsense. And that means that that labor of love does not show up in anybody's balance sheet in the traditional finance system. Now I'm telling you, I'm here to report to you that labor of love, we are going to be able to tokenize it. We are going to tokenize the conception moment, which I call it the creation moment, Genesis 1. That Genesis, boom, she's pregnant. She gets paid for that. And how does she get paid? She receives a token for reporting to the local clinic, and that I have lost my last menstrual period, and so she gets token allocated. Number 2, she follows the prenatal care schedule. She goes to get weighed, it's called Well Mother Clinic. Every 3 months or every month, she goes to see the provider. She gets tokens, and then she delivers a baby. She gets token. So these tokens actually liquid tokens. Liquid tokens means that they can be put in the decentralized exchange or decentralized finance market. They can be used for creating liquidity. That means they can appear in the capital markets. That means that we can tokenize what? the labor of love. Now imagine half the global population is women. One other half of those are women in the childbearing age. And those women are producing great jobs, doing great work, but that work has no value. Yet we continue saying that women hold the entire sky, because not a single one of us showed up in this planet except through a woman. Why is it that we are not able to capture the value of the work of women, particularly the labor of love itself? Besides now not capturing the value of work with people who are living in developing countries. So what you're saying, when you work this carefully, that value of that labor that's represented is hundreds of trillions of dollars. But then that cannot happen in the presence of ignorance, without knowledge. You must know how that thing works. And that is all you're going to learn all that in the blockchain basics. And then in the second class, after you finish the basics, you go to higher level, you now can design your own project. You learn how to do your own smart contract for very, very specific projects that you always wish to have. Yeah. So like last week you had in our presentation, we had Dr. Mubale. He has got this vision of building a neuroscience center of excellence in Africa. And that's going to be possible because it's going to be possible to raise money through quadratic funding or retroactive public good funding mechanism of on the blockchain. But that we would have to do that in intermediate course. After taking the fundamentals and learning cryptographic principles and learning real-world application, then you come and design your own smart contract to fund your own project. And every single one of us has got something called personal vision. That personal vision is equivalent to a lot of value. It's called that value is called desired future state. Desired future state will take money to finance it, to achieve it. And when in decentralized finance platform, now it has become possible for you to fund your desired future state. So today we're in a state of absence of money, extra legal, and the desired future state is how do I fund my vision? Whether you think about a real estate project, you think about a hospital, even a healthcare delivery system, you're thinking about biomedical devices manufacturing or development process for developing drugs, all that takes a lot of money. By the way, in biomedicine, super expensive. As we said here at the very beginning, the funding, the development process for biomedical devices, to fund development of biomedical device costs about $700 million. Yeah. How do you raise that money? To fund a drug from laboratory bench, to bring it to the patient bedside, that costs $3 billion and 10 years of work, dealing with the FDA. Now that means that it's totally impossible for people who are extra legal to form capital of that magnitude to do drug development, to do biomedical devices, until decentralized finance comes along. And now it's going to be possible to raise capital for biomedical devices. That 770 million becomes almost nothing when you have 1 billion people participating in contributing to the fundraising process. And this is now how this is going to work. Now, for people who would love to help development, particularly for your own community, wherever you are, and you say, for example, particular people in the diaspora, Africans in the diaspora, we're always sending money home, but nothing is happening. It's because they're sending money in an extra legal place. It's not possible to be productive in that state. Now the extra legal is finished. Now you'll be sending money to a legal, manage my smart contract. And that's how you do this is, first of all, we train your people. Now for every project that gets proposed, for example, like what we are talking about, building the the neuroscience center, which we talked about last week, we said that we would need to train at least 1,200 people. This comprises the number of people we have to train. This comprises the scientists themselves, the physicians and the surgeons who are going to work in that neuroscience center to understand how blockchain works. Okay? We're also going to train the team itself that is going to be managing the process. You know, these are the guys who are administrators of the process. They need to learn how the whole thing works. Besides that, we have to train the what's called community economic development workers, community health workers. These are the health promoters in the community. The health promoters in the community are just good enough for learning the blockchain basics, so they can know how to open a wallet, understand the public key, the private key, so they can actually teach the members of the community in their own local community how to use the blockchain so that they're not left behind. And then to train those people, 1,200 people, you can see that that's, first of all, we know the number, we have the goal, so that when, say, the proponents of the neuroscience center, then what we have to do is work together and find money to sponsor those 1,200 people to learn at least to take the blockchain basics. Then the guys who are going to be administering the project, then they have to learn the intermediate class and even the advanced classes. So how does that work? Now, the people who are sponsors are the ones we're saying are going to be members of the Actuate Society for Decentralized Science. And that membership is kind of a legacy model where you become a member by paying $2,500 and you receive an equivalent amount of Actuate token, as Frida has indicated. And then if you want to become much bigger, because you're going to train at least 10 people for $2,500. But if you sponsor, you can sponsor 20 people with $5,000, and then you receive what? You receive a title called the Chief of Actuate Society of Decentralized Finance. Then you have got the benefits for a chief. You get certain perquisites for being a chief, and then of course, if you keep going up, you can become a premier. So these are big titles that are going to make you feel very good that you have actually helped to train a lot of people in your community so that your community is not left behind. See that? And then, of course, you can build whatever project you want. And this is why now we want to tie the sponsorship to the specific project development. Now, the final thing I'll tell you, there's no limit to the kind of project you can think of. The only limit is your own imagination. Now, question is, are you imaginative enough? Imagination is the only thing needed. You can imagine anything, and then you say, let me put my imagination to work. And then the technology for bringing the imagination to reality is right here with us. And then we create a program for manifesting your imagination. That is what John was writing in Revelation 21. It's called bringing the new heaven into the new earth. And then I saw a new heaven and in the new earth. And in this new heaven, in this new earth, there was no sea and there was no day or night. It was light all the way. And that is what we're talking, technology of light. By the way, that is now the deep science of blockchain, is actually a technology of light. Because how does the blockchain travel from Boston to Kenya, where you guys are, or to India, where you are? It's through the technology of light. It's called photons. And that's really deep science, but we don't want to go to deep science right now. Just know that there is no sea, there's no light, there's no darkness. That is all covered in Revelation 21 for those who would like to read the Christian Bible by John. All right, thank you. Now, I'll stop my comments, so I'm sure there are maybe some questions, concerns, objections. Yeah. So any questions? Frida, do you see any?
So, no, we don't have any questions at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I would like to add something
Okay.
that was interesting. Yesterday, I was talking to my one of my colleagues, and
Hold on. Let me turn off my mic. Go ahead.
I could speak through your mic. So I was talking to one of my colleagues yesterday, and I was asking him about his.
I wonder if it's going through. Is it coming through, Frida?
I
I muted my mic.
Yes, we can hear him.
You can hear. Okay, go ahead then.
was talking to colleague at work, and I was asking about his tokens. I think a month or two ago, he said he had some. So because of this meeting today, I was, thinking about tokens, and I asked him what kind does he have? What platform does he have it on? And he wouldn't tell me. And I was like, come on. And I found out the reason why he wouldn't tell me is because of a important part of security that we mentioned last week. The blockchain is seen by the entire blockchain community worldwide. So, given that he has tokens from his friend, and his friend does a marketing company, they do nightclubs, they're promoters, nightclub promoters. He didn't want me to, know about the token because then I would easily be able to find it since it's public. So those are 2 points I want to mention. Dr. Macharia, he's trying to show how you can monetize anything, and it comes down to your imagination. So we have a nightclub promoter who is in his early 20s with my colleague in his early 20s, and they have tokens for nightclub promoting. You can put it on anything.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, that's cool. And then also, when it comes down to the security, he knows that, I would be able to find it easily because the whole world can see the blockchain, and that has the security. So those are the two points I would like to add. And it was interesting how, I'm seeing creativity from these young guys.
Excellent. Yeah. So Jonathan, you have comment on this blockchain.
Right now, I'm just trying to absorb as much as I can. I'm don't know too much about blockchain. The only thing I really know is like what Jose was mentioning, how it's public and um uh for instance, right now, like I have a couple coins that I invest in, but I'm not too like keen on when or how to trade effectively
Okay.
in essence. So I think learning from this right now would be great for me.
Like the basis
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
it sounds like would be for you. Yeah.
So from what I gathered from right now, it seems to me like we're looking for people to pretty much join the movement by learning the blockchain and incorporating it into our daily lives in a sense.
Yeah, so that's another point I wanted to bring up. So Dr. Macharia mentioned how in Web 1.0, Web 2.0, how technology was different. And he said that you have to learn, So because we're in Web 3.0, and this is a brand new thing, the whole world has to learn about this. So this is akin to, going from just web pages with links and barely any photos and very few videos and only owned by major corporations to you in your bedroom, having the whole thing being decentralized in a sense, and being able to make your own videos, make your own money from your own website, your own social media in your bedroom. And before the technology of social media and Web 2.0 even existed, you could not do that. It was only corporations. So the change in technology allowed for a person in the bedroom to make money. But with that comes education. How? How do we do this? This never existed before. So now we're in that phase again with Web 3.0. And yeah, so we can help you with that on the basic course level. And that's what we're doing with Actuate Academy. We're helping people get this education first so they can then go out and just like people did in the early days of YouTube and make money in their bedroom, now they can make money on the blockchain. It's the same exact process, just repeated on a different technology.
Yes, but I think the additional thing that the academy has is that in Web 1, we didn't have massive public education, like people teaching people how to use the internet, and then it just happened on people, and then there was a lot of resistance. And in fact, there's still millions of people who do not know about the web. But then ultimately, when Web 2 came along, Web 1 was just a read web that whoever could make a website can actually post text information there. and then people can read it. That was called the read web. And then in around 1999, 2000 there, the guys in tech invented something called the dynamic web, where any individual can write anything. And that was give us Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg came along, they made Facebook, and of course there was MySpace. And then after that, we got LinkedIn, and then YouTube, and it's Web2 revolution. And that's known as a creator economy. So people became creators. But even then, there is billions of people who do not know how to use YouTube to make money.
Yes.
You don't know, because nobody is training them. There's
Yes.
no academy teaching people
Mhm.
about how to use YouTube or even how to use Web2. And then you hear some people saying, "Oh, I am on Instagram. I've made I made $17 million over the last 5 years." How? But it's because there's no training. There's some people who know how it works, but then there's nobody training, nobody giving us massive public education. And then a lot of people in Africa have no clue, but they still can use WhatsApp. You see, and of course, they can get on Zoom. But how they can make money with those is still a mystery to them, because we are still, oppressing this mystery of capital, of a thing called the third world. And one of the biggest problem in Africa, let's say in those people extra legal, is that you are not allowed to get paid. And that's something I discovered almost when you're trying to create an online market, and then we needed to install a payment gateway, say like Amazon.com. You need a payment gateway for you to get paid for your products. And then you need to ask permission from Visa, MasterCard, Discover, all those guys.
Mhm.
And then they tell you, your region not approved. I was stunned.
Mhm.
Your region not approved. You cannot get paid through Visa. You cannot get paid. You cannot get paid through MasterCard if you are in the third world, because your region is not approved. You see that? So even you, no matter what you do, even in the Web2, the creator economy, you still cannot get paid. And this one now, Web3 comes and it just breaks down the whole thing, that you will get paid through tokens, regardless of where you are. Mhm. I don't know, I'm getting a feedback again. Yeah. And that's the part. I think they oh, is that your mic?
No.
Okay. Just microphone that was giving feedback. So you could not get paid in the creator economy. Web2, if you live in a region not approved, that means you're extra legal in the current finance system. You are not going to get paid. And that's a tragic thing. And if you try to send money, like what I've been trying to do last year, send a whole bunch of money to Africa, and then what got? PayPal. PayPal just put me in something called PayPal jail. They say, "Oh, this account is associated with suspicious activity. We are going to hold on your payment for 180 days before you can decide." Can you believe that's what they do? They just hold your money and they don't care. And then they say, if there's no complaint after 180 days, we may return it to you. And then when you try to call them to find out why you're holding the money, he said, well, you get customer service. The customer service, first of all, is a machine.
Mhm.
Yeah. So they make so many hoops until you give up. And then you just have to sit down and wait for 180 days and hear what they're going to say. And when they do that, the whole thing kicks back to your bank account. So the bank now is saying this account is associated with what? Yeah, some transactions. You have not done anything. That the point is, you are not going to get paid if you are in the developing countries or in the, let's say, extra legal economy, because your region is not approved. And that's why this decentralized finance is so important, particularly so that the value of the work for the people can get paid for the value of the work they produce every day. And that same thing. So in Kenya, let me tell you a story. In Kenya, in 2005, Safaricom is a mobile phone company. Created something very interesting called sharing minutes. Like if I buy, say like AT&T, and you buy data, and you pay for it. So it tells you that you have enough minutes to speak throughout the whole month. Okay, unlimited. So then Safaricom found out that I actually created a system where you could actually share your minutes. They could buy minutes, but then I can share those minutes with my sister. Okay, I can give her bundles. That's what they call them, bundles. I can share the bundles with my sister. So when I share the bundles, then my sister is going to be able to talk to me, or she can call other people, and then my sister then can go to the grocery store and share the bundles with the shopkeepers, equivalent to the number of things she wants to buy. So the shopkeeper has got bundles, and so all of a sudden these bundles became money. Now, if you are somewhere like here in the United States, I can buy bundles to my Safaricom account and send them to my mother, and my mother can go with those bundles and buy sugar in the grocery store. So a whole new economy came out there. It's called M-Pesa, mobile money. And you see, the central bank went up in arms. Even the commercial banks, they said, oh, these guys are engaging in finance, but they are not. They are not banking. They are not a financial organization. So far, Safaricom said, we are not a financial organization, and people now, everybody who has got a cell phone can actually get bundles, and those bundles are used for as cash, as money. And that is the first digital money that happened just out of the blue like that. And then it became so popular that everybody was using it, including now. First of all, the central bank, they had sued Safaricom and telling the government to stop it. But who are they stopping? See, the traditional finance, let's say the commercial banks. We have banks like Barclays Bank or Kenya Commercial Bank. They had banks only about 10% of the population. The rest of the people were unbanked, but they have cell phones, so they can share bundles. So Safaricom now bundles, the M-Pesa brought the remaining 90% into the finance system, just like that. They poured into it. Now that is Kenya alone, but you're having a similar problem in the international finance. That, as you see what PayPal has done, when you try to send money, they criminalize your activity. And so just trying to preclude you from being able to sell what you produce. You cannot do international transactions. And now the blockchain itself is going to do exactly what Safaricom did for Kenya, M-Pesa, that brought the rest of the population into the finance market without money, but with what? Minutes, bundles for speaking. Similarly, tokens like Actuate token are not cash that is issued by fiat or faith and credit of any government. It's not government currency, but it is a token of communication of value. Just like the bundles were tokens of communication of value in M-Pesa. So M-Pesa is bundles of tokens of communication of value. Because what is value? And this is now at the heart of the whole matter. Value, everything else is abundant. The value is measured against the only thing that is scarce. The only thing that is scarce in this planet is time. Because if you're now this minute, you can never leave this minute again. That minute has passed forever and ever. See? So everything else is abundant. And if we have now a system now that like the blockchain itself, tokens capture the essence of what has happened at that minute. It's a timestamp. And then when that has happened, then that value is represented. And that's what Satoshi Nakamoto gave us in 2005 in the Bitcoin. Then all these guys in traditional finance say, where does the value of the Bitcoin come from? The value of the Bitcoins come from time itself, comprehending what is time. Time is the only thing scarce, whereas everything else is abundant. See? We have abundant of imagination, abundant of skills, abundant of oxygen, abundant of knowledge, but time keeps passing away on a continuous basis. That's why the Chinese say you can never step on the same river twice. Just keeps on going. And now that is it. And if you can comprehend that, then you are very good. And that's why we have to train people what this thing is all about. You see, this thing is all about, and that's now Actuate Academy, as you have seen, that you cannot get paid. is a creator on Web2 economy because your region is not approved. Okay? It's not a joke. This is serious geopolitical things. Your region not approved, and that's what really shocked me. And we asked about how many companies did we request? About how many? 10 different companies. And they all came with the same answer. Your region not approved. Your region not approved. Your region not approved. And that's
It sounds similar to a VPN actually, because if I have my internet service here and I'm trying to access videos elsewhere,
Yeah.
well, region not approved, right?
Yes.
But if I had a decentralized network where I can access any server around the world and just, be on that network of all the servers everywhere, which would be kind of like a chain of servers, if you want to use an analogy, then I can access that region. It's similar, maybe slightly different, but it's to help people who may not be as astute or comfortable with this concept. That could help them understand, because most people use VPNs who are savvy online.
That is true, because VPN, see, the internet when it came around in 1990s, early 1990s, was supposed to be open, open for everybody in the world to see. But then there came the politicians, and then they start putting roadblocks that you can have this region, classifying people into regions, that these are the people who matter, those ones don't matter. And so the holding the decentralized of nature of the internet was hijacked. Now we are getting the rebirth of decentralized internet again, Web3, and it's going to be very, very difficult for them to hijack it. But then, even by the time they come to hijack it, say with their political sense, we want to make sure that people know what it is and how to use it. That's what the academy is about. We train the people. And then, of course, the reason a lot of people don't know about blockchain is because even in our colleges, universities, and community colleges, they are not talking about it. They're not teaching. Yeah.
I've been noticing lately, like some people, they feel like the blockchain, or they don't have trust in it, I would assume, or they don't know really what it is yet. So I think this is very important for people to start taking advantage of, like, learning, because all the misinformation right now, like with the blockchain, and like right now I feel like all those rug pulls that happened,
Yes.
like with these meme coins and stuff, is putting a very bad name or like a stigma on the blockchain. So I think people, if they actually learn what it is, and actually, grasp what type of tech we're actually dealing with, and how it actually can change how we view finances, then I think people will start changing their mentality towards it. So
That's right. I think you're right. The misinformation comes in the premise of ignorance, because people get rug pulled. First of all, the people making meme coins, like, they just want to make money. You see, because when people are not aware, you can take advantage of them. And that's because no one is actually educating people what the real essence of the blockchain is, the fundamentals. So they can get hoodwinked and cheated, and then get the rug pulled under their feet when they're not even aware. Yeah. So meme coins themselves, these are speculation. And there's the casino, so people make a meme coin like Dogecoin, which itself has no utility. It has no projects that is actually is being useful. It's just for speculating, like the way you can buy a baseball card and hope it's going to increase in value. Yeah, people speculating about the value of this baseball card in 5 years. There are people who do that. They are collectors. They collect things. And those are the guys who are getting rug pulled. But then that is not the primary use of the blockchain. The blockchain itself is an internet of value, representing value. And that value means that it has got utility, the usefulness. Like I said, you can represent the value of the work of a woman getting pregnant and carrying a baby to term. And that is going to prevent what's called prenatal death or maternal death, where women die just because the value of the work they're trying to produce is not represented. They have no money, and yet they are trying to deliver life. They die just because they get pregnant. They die because they go into labor, and they are in other, undesirable conditions. And even if they give birth to that baby, they don't have the money to raise the baby because the work they're doing is not appreciated. And see, now that is basic fundamental utility of life. And the blockchain has got the ability to represent that value into the marketplace.
So, so which part of our coursework addresses the specific, security levels of blockchain and educates on that?
So in fundamentals, in the blockchain basics, when you're talking about cryptographic principles, which is now the second module, that is where we talk about security. And security of blockchain is good. It's about 3 levels, but there's a basic security using the private key. One thing you have to know about the private key, it represents you. It's like your bank account, it's your title deed, and you need to keep it safe. That private key should not be shown to anybody. Even you should not see it. It's like a sacred thing. Like they say in the Holy Bible, there's a sacred place where you should not see. That's what the private key is sacred. Now, that the private key is actually minted right when you create a wallet. Okay, so that private key, it gives access to yourself. It's yourself, your representation. And so you get what you call the passphrases. These are words, about 12 words or 24 words, depending on which wallet you open, the wallet that you open. And that wallet, those passphrases, you need to treat them with greatest care. First of all, do not save them anywhere on your laptop. Do not save the passphrases in Google Drive. Do not save them by email. Why? Because all those places are accessible to hackers. Yeah, write them down on a piece of paper. Go back from information tech, go to no tech. Because if it's on a piece of paper, a nice piece of paper, then you can laminate it and go and hide it somewhere in your where you hide your most treasured things. That is the basic. That is the primary level of security. Nobody can take your money if they don't have access to your private key. But somebody will take all your money if they have access to your private key. And they just need to have that passphrase. And that person is going to take all your money, and then you have lost your money. Okay? That's what you want to understand. Then the private key is the only key that exists in this planet. It's like your fingerprint. See? Even no two fingers have got the same fingerprint. So it is unique to itself and it's unique to you. And that means it cannot be changed. It cannot be mutated. Somebody cannot come with another private key and say, oh, this private key is the one that we send the money that is in here. Okay? So it is immutable. That's the word. The blockchain is immutable. That's the second level of security. The immutability of the private key, that can never be changed. And that private key is what usually now is what give you the gateway to the blockchain itself. It's like the gate, the door that gives you to the entrance to the blockchain. And so you want to make sure that that door to the blockchain for you is always locked, and you can only you can access it, and nobody can access it. And do not leave your keys lying around, even with your own friends, because they're the ones who might come and take the money. Then that you could say from technology standpoint, the immutability of the blockchain is highly secure. Then you could say there are some hackers who are very, very clever, who can attack. We get things like called the attack for the chain, and then you can lose everything. If for example, there are people who always are trying to attack the Bitcoin, or they are trying to attack the Ethereum blockchain, or trying to attack, that's usually called the 51% attack. You need to attack more than 51% in order for you to gain access to that blockchain. But to get to attack more than 51%, you would have to mobilize more computers, they're called nodes, than the 51% of the holders of that coin, which is really not possible. It's because the security is, the blockchain is secured by the consensus algorithm. Consensus is where at least all the nodes in the network must agree that this transaction is real, has happened from this private key, and is the only one that exists. There was never such a transaction before. Boom, that's it. But then you can have somebody saying that I am going to put 100 million computers around the world. That means someone must be a very rich person. And then instruct them to reverse the transaction, or even say, like, if you're selling a whole large quantity of money, like say $1 million, and then somebody can hijack that by creating that kind of called SIBO attack, 51% attack. It's impossible because the consensus algorithm will not let it happen.
So, so what you're saying is the word decentralized means that we don't have any intermediaries, we don't have any third parties. So these nodes, as you say, are computers in everyone's house, okay? They're phones and their computers. These phones and computers are all over the world and everyone's houses. And for a hacker to take over the blockchain, they would have to take control of over 51% of all the computers on the chain all over the world in everyone's bedroom. And that's why it's so strong. And that's why you're saying it's impossible for such a thing to even happen.
Yeah, so you don't have a single point of failure. You see, now if money is now, say for example, in this alcove, you can have some thieves coming over here and storm in here and take over the cash. But if this cash was not here, but it is represented by 100 million computers out there in the world, the nodes, they have to agree to change to allow the thieves to come in.
Yes, so I would like to speak on the consensus part and the thieves part, the single point of failure. So say that hackers were successful taking over 40% of all the computers on the blockchain all over the world. That would not matter because the other computers on the chain would take over the workload and keep everything secure. And they would do that through consensus. Consensus, as you know, is when the majority agrees. So what happens is when a miner, a Bitcoin miner or a coin miner mines a coin and it's ready for the blockchain, it has to first go through a review process to be put onto the block. And then that miner gets a reward when it successfully gets added to the block. But first, one of the security checks, one of the verification checks is consensus. So as he said, 51% or more has to agree that this is a valid block to be added to the chain. If that doesn't pass, then it doesn't get added to the chain. There's other checks and balances too, such as proof of work and proof of stake. But with these multiple forms of checks and balances, verifying that block, then it gets added to the chain. If it doesn't pass, then it doesn't get added. So with these two security concepts in mind, lack of single point of failure, and the addition of security checks through consensus, it's highly secure. The blockchain is highly secure. It's actually more secure than a lot of systems we have now. Recently, this week, I saw a news report of a guy showing how hackers are, not hackers, but hackers and, like just nefarious people are stealing money from ATMs, drawing out thousands of dollars by first looking at you at the register, inputting your code, and then outside, two of them come up and say, "Hey, you dropped a $20 bill, and this is yours," and they give it to you. But as you're taking the bill, it's a distraction, and the other person takes your wallet, and then they remember the key, the pin you put inside. They go to the ATM and withdraw all the money, and that's I think a lot of people know about that. But one thing that shocked me when I heard is that these same people are going to the actual bank branch, talking to a teller, and they're using your code saying it's you, and they're giving the money. These are many points of failure that don't exist in the blockchain. So with that being said, I'll turn it back over to Nigeria.
Well, thank you for that example. Yeah, with this traditional finance system, it's very old, outdated, because you can see it's outdated,
Yeah.
but they're holding on to it like what? They're holding on to it. They want to let it go. But you see, first of all, that traditional finance system is based on computer technology that was invented in 1971. Mhm. And so it's so far behind, you cannot believe it. And it surprises me that people in finance are not willing to move on to catch up with the rest of the world in technology. But it's happening now. In some few finance organizations, even here in the United States, are using blockchain, like Hyperledger, private blockchain.
Yes, I heard of
Yes.
that. Like,
Others are using Ethereum, a blockchain. And even in Europe, we have several organizations using Ethereum blockchain. And for their, for security, for the finance transactions. And this is why we need to educate people. If some finance organizations, some European finance organizations, some American finance organizations are already taking the blockchain, but then this whole conversation about blockchain is it's silent. You don't even hear about it. So we need to make as much noise as possible, educate our people how it works, because it's the most secure so far, the latest form of financial technology. And besides that, it gives us economic justice because it is decentralized, because you can get representation of the value of every single individual on this planet without without labeling them as criminals just because they got pregnant.
Mhm.
You see?
Mhm.
Yeah. So you mentioned proof of work, proof of stake. Proof of work and proof of stake, they are two consensus mechanisms. Proof of work use electricity, electric code, to flip the coins for that 51%. And so proof of work is use electrical current that you have to pass electrons, because electrons are flipping from 0 to 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. It's as you say, that if you get 40%, if you hijacked the system 40%, you still have not reached 51%, so that is 0. But if you go more than 51%, that is 1. That's what you call Bernoulli's equation. For those guys who did statistics, Bernoulli?
Bernoulli, yeah.
Bernoulli is a
Yes.
principle of binary, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. And that is so the blockchain is based on that principle, the Bernoulli's equation. You either have it or you don't. You have it or you don't. On, off, on, off. And so you can do on, off by passing electric current. Because electric current using the semiconductor can actually pass on, off like a switch. Now, and that's how the computer works, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. That's what the entire digital economy is all about. The information system is based on zeros and ones. And so, when Satoshi came along in the very first beginning of Bitcoin, he used electrical current for the consensus algorithm. And that's where all these guys were around the world saying, oh, this thing consumes so much electricity, you are going to finish electricity for all of us. Nonsense. We still have so much electricity that we are not using. And where you have those proof of work mining called mining rigs, you can put them anywhere in the world, including in Iceland, where there's only snow and there are no people. And of course, in the tundra, that means that it is not an argument to say that the proof of work consuming so much electricity, because you can now put those rigs where there are no human habitation and use electricity there. That's one. But then proof of work came to be a bit challenging because of its consumption of electricity. And then there's especially countries in Africa, we don't have so much electricity to use, so people may not participate in Bitcoin mining or in the consensus algorithm. So around to 2016, Dan Larimer, and some other guys came with proof of stake. Proof of stake. So proof of stake, even I think Cardano, when they came in the beginning, they just used proof of stake. Proof of stake uses the same tokens, like the Ethereum token. You stake your own tokens, and the token itself, because the token consumes block space, And that block space, just like with Safaricom, the block space is money. So the block space can be used for the consensus algorithm. And so what Ethereum did was creating these staking pools with companies like Lido. And what they would do, Ethereum say that if you put 32 ETH tokens, then you can participate in staking Ethereum in the proof of stake. And so many companies formed to help people who cannot afford 32 ETH, because 32 ETH means 32 times $3,000. That can be a chunk for change. But then you can participate in contributing your ETH, just a small quantity of ETH that you have. And then when you participate in proof of stake, you participate in mining, just like Bitcoin was mining with proof of work with electrical current. Now, proof of stake participates in mining with your own ETH. And now, when you have even made something like Actuate token, one of the way the Actuate token is going to be used is proof of stake mechanism in mining Actuate tokens. And so what happens is that people who participate, who donate their mining, I mean they contribute their tokens to the mining pool, they get paid. So mining is that for every transaction that gets passed, a new token is minted and you receive a token, an extra token. So that's how people participating in mining were making a lot of money, like Bitcoins, because every time when checking, has this transaction ever happened before? And then you go on checking throughout the entire blockchain. And then if you come up with the very first one and say, this transaction has never happened before, you become the first person to say that, you receive a Bitcoin. Yeah, that's what Bitcoin mining is all about.
And can you speak on how Bitcoin mining also adds security to the blockchain by numbers? So the more numbers we have, the more members of the chain we have, the actual security goes up.
That's right.
Yes.
So in the beginning, say there are only two computers that are doing this, two nodes. So two nodes, you can get 51% attack. You need to be that person. You come and say, okay, 51%. But if there are three nodes, the difficulty, it's called the difficulty of attacking, becomes reduced. So the more the network grows, or the greater the network of the node, the harder the more difficult it gets to attack that transaction chain.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's right. And then because everybody's getting paid for participating, see, they earn Bitcoin, because it means out a whole new coin for you, then it means that people are incentivized to participate as nodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So to clarify on that incentivized nature of the blockchain, when a block is looking to be put on the blockchain, everyone is in a race. You can see it as a race. So you have 100 people, they all are racing to be the one person, as Dr. Macharia said, to be verified through all these consensus mechanisms, to be the one person who created a new block, a valid block to be added to the chain. Before it's considered valid though, this person raises their hand and they say, hey, out of 100 people, I'm the one who found it. So then the 99, they look at that person as competitors, and then when the hand is raised, then they become partners, and they say, okay, so fair enough, let's work together and verify this. All of us will work together to verify this is a real block, and then it gets put on a blockchain once it's verified. So that's another cool part of the security, and the cool part of just this decentralized nature of the blockchain is the people you're competing with then become your partners to verify and add security.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Then your competitors are your cooperators.
Yes.
That blockchain is so amazing that people, instead of being in competition, initially look they're competing, going through that Bernoulli's race. So I call it a Bernoulli race, because they just, I want to be the first one, raise his hand,
Mhm.
and then everybody comes and says, oh yeah, he's the one, he got it. He gets paid. Now we're all friends. And then the race starts again.
Yeah, the race starts again, yes.
Yeah. It's funny. But
So, I think we should see if there's any other questions. We spoke on a lot of subjects.
yeah. Any other question, Frida? Comments?
No other questions. I've just seen Mobile has joined, and also we have Derek Masharia. So
But Derek, yeah, but Derek, we promised you're gonna be speaking about AI. Hello, Derek.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Derek.
We are fine. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great as well.
Tell us about your
Yeah.
project.
Okay, so the project is this. Imagine if you had a very super intelligent AI in your phone. One thing. Second, imagine if this super intelligent AI had access to all your medical records, all your medical information, and all your personal preferences.
Yes.
Third, imagine if this data was living on a blockchain, so that when you go to hospital A, B, C, or D, you don't have to keep on redoing the diagnostics every single time. So I present to you Powanax AI. We are at the cross section of AI and medicine, and AI in medicine and blockchain. So currently we have an MVP of Powanax AI. I can show you a demo if you want, but so far the only remaining part is the blockchain part.
Powanox AI.
Powanax AI.
Powanox. Now, when
Yeah,
you finish the meeting, with our assistants called the AI companion misspelled here. We want to apologize for that because it misspelled. It said parallax. Powanox. Okay. Yeah. Can you share your screen 1 minute? A minute, then you show us.
10 minutes.
We have 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me
Yeah.
show you real quick. Can you see me well? Can you see it?
So Frida, you can confirm.
yeah, we can see your screen,
Yes,
Derek.
yes.
I see with my ears.
Oh,
Yeah. Don't worry about that. My ears are the ones that I have deployed for.
so currently I am on the site,
Okay.
and as you can see, this is I'm on the home page currently, and it's looking.
It's your website. Please
Yeah.
describe everything because I see with my ears.
Okay, so the home page is very nice. It's landing. The first thing you see is your personal AI doctor. So anybody who comes to Powanax knows exactly what it's about. The second thing you see is the features. Oh, very we were honored to participate in last year's Deep Tech, the Deep Tech competition for startups, which was hosted at Dubai by GTEX company, GTEX Global. Actually, this competition usually brings a lot of big players in the tech world, and we were honored to be recognized for our innovation at that startup competition. So when you go down, you see we introduce how Powanax is supposed to work, and then that's it. Now let's go to the main spot. Now the main spot is the chat interface. Now in the chat interface, we can do very many things. And one of them is that we can show dashboards within the interface. Another thing we can do is that we can show like overall diagnostics within the chat interface. And the last thing we have done, if you have been following the OpenAI news, you have realized that they're saying the memory system has been improved. I don't know how they did it, but at Powanax, we have created the first, I'll say, multi-domain contextual intelligence. Okay, what you're saying is that we want the AI, once it learns something in one field, it will be able to apply it in the next field. Okay.
Okay. So
I'm having some issues logging in. Okay, let's just go and watch the demo video at YouTube. So let's see. So in the meantime, we have our company landing page, and we have two systems. One we have for the doctors, and one we have for the personal AI system. Now, for the doctors now, the main thing it does is that it analyzes files and it analyzes medical images, not in one go, but in batch. So currently we can analyze 3 medical images at a go, and we can analyze 3 medical files at a go. In the future, we hope to increase this to like maybe 50 or 100. Like imagine a doctor going like five patient cases, and they have like 5 different files, and they want to find a common pattern among all these files. Now, instead of going through each file individually, you can send our system all those files, and it can analyze all those files and find patterns that you are looking for. Now, here we are in the Pawnax AI personal doctor thing, and I'm going to show you how the memory system works. First, I'm going to ask it what it remembers about me. Now, something else you have to realize, this is an AI native application. I don't know how many of them are in the market, but everything is built on top of AI. So AI has access to everything, like all these tabs. For example, it can remember what you did for exercises. It can remember what you ate for a meal. It can remember the medicines you are prescribed. It can remember the injuries you talked it about. It can remember how you slept. It can remember, like, in short, any conversation you have with the system improves it and makes it better, not just for you, but for the next person using it. So here you can see, what do you remember about me? First, it should reply to me with my name, because I mean, the first thing to personalization is knowing the user's name. And as you can see from the reply, it knows my name. Actually, I told it my name is Mega. Mega is my street name. And you can see here, it remembers very well. So from the response here, you can hear, first, it knows that I enjoy creating and sharing children's stories in African languages. Second, it knows I went to debate for meditation. It knows I like meditating in a freezer room for 3 minutes. It knows I don't like black hair dyes. It knows I love bananas, but I hate cats. It knows I like gorillas and green elephant tracks. It knows I use meal planning for dinner and breakfast. It knows my name. It knows my health, fitness. It knows how I slept. It knows what I've been shopping, what I have been buying, and my preferences. In short, we are creating the best personal AI doctor. And in the future, it will be more than that. It will be your personal AI assistant that knows everything about you. So you can, like chat, okay, right now when you sign in into other platforms, you sign in with Google. Our aim is that you'll be able to sign in with Pawnax, so that it brings all your personal context to that site. So yeah, so first, the most important thing and the best thing and our greatest innovation is in the memory system. So these memory systems allow the AI to learn from the user and to apply these learnings to different domains. So as you can see here, we are not only dealing with the health, but we are also dealing with e-commerce. So for example, let's say I have an allergy to nuts. Right now, if you go to any e-commerce platform, first of all, they're not AI powered. Second of all, there's no place like you can actually put that I have an allergy to nuts. So the product that should be brought there should be not including nuts. So that is the basic version. Now in the future, I'm assuming the advancements that will be happening in the medical field, everybody will be able to get their own personal medicine based on their own unique genetic makeup. We can see this, we can extrapolate from all the innovations happening right now, that in the next 3 to 5 years, that will be the future we are looking at. Now imagine a future where you need some very specific kind of medicines, some very specific kind of product, some very specific kind of foods. In short, personalization and preferences. That is the whole gist of our system. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Did we have until 11:30?
We started early, remember?
Okay. Well, thank you, Derek. Yeah, that's
You
awesome.
can keep going. You wanna check
Yeah, we can keep going.
something?
Well, I was just taking time but that's very beautiful. I think
Very useful.
the way the blockchain comes in is 2 levels. One is fundraising, because you're gonna need a whole boatload of cash to do this. Have you thought about that? Like raising money to fund this project?
Oh, yeah, I've been thinking about raising funds. Currently, I'm just applying for grants And in the future, I hope to meet maybe some angel investors or some good-hearted people who will believe in our vision. But currently, we are just focused on grants.
What is the total capital? Let's say the minimum amount of money you need to get this going.
As in what terms? I need $3,000 for marketing minimum.
Yeah. Usually say, because when you think about capital formation, like forming capital, you think about what is the minimum of money that must come in. Besides marketing, you're gonna need to pay salaries for training people, to even to develop all this, and then you also need maybe some equipment. And it's not 3,000, it's a lot more than that. That is what's called the soft cap. Okay. And the hard cap is the total available market for this business. And I think this is what we can do in another meeting. We can specifically talk about soft cap and hard cap for you. Then you can create a blockchain program for raising that money. And then we figure out that's what we are here. Now in Actuate Academy, now we're going to help you understand what is your soft cap. We're going to help you understand what is your hard cap. Because even if you go to the donors, $3,000 will be finished with one afternoon. Okay. That's money that can get finished very, very quickly. But if you have a soft cap, it's money that can take you for 5 years. That's a soft cap. The hard cap is the money that will make this blossom into full fruition for the entire African continent. See?
Yeah.
So these are about things about finance, and that's what you're talking in decentralized finance, and that's how the blockchain comes in, because you would need two people with two kinds of guys. One set of people who understand blockchain and how to do the pre-sales and all those, and then you need guys who understand these large language models, meaning AI. And I have lots of questions, but you don't have lots of time, so I think
we actually have extended time now, so
we have
can
extended.
continue
to 11:30.
To 11:30. Okay. So the next question is, how do you train it? I mean, you need data to train it. For example, you talked about genetic data, or even the imaging. Where did you get the images to train them? Like what's called biomedical image. You're taking a photo of the chest X-ray, for example. You need to make a diagnosis to tell you whether this is a normal chest X-ray or whether there's some patches in there. Where do you get that data to train it?
Okay, due to some, I think, technical reasons or legal reasons, I can't tell you that. But let's just say we are using the public available data.
Public available data.
Yeah, on Kaggle and on Google.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so it's just things like healthcare, because it's about health information system. Are you working? No, I don't know. Are you working with another group? But I think you're talking about health record in AI, but not on blockchain.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what we need to do is, I think this coming week, how about the next meetup? We now focus on your project and talk about the hard cap and all that. Because let me tell you, you have to mint a token. Okay?
Yeah.
Because that token, we say you discover how many tokens you're going to mint by understanding your hard cap. Because the hard cap is total available market for the technology that you are building. So TAM. And then the minimum market that you can capture is, you could say, the soft cap. You can say I can do this for one hospital, or maybe one county, regional hospitals in a county, and then so you can start seeing that so it becomes how to implement the minimum viable project in that county area is testing the first iteration, but you need to raise enough money to keep you afloat for 5 years, so that by the time the 5 years is over, the whole thing will have grown its own legs, and we'll do it on its own. So that means that you would need to know how many tokens, and then the tokens you're going to say each token costs how much money, and then you can do a pre-sale. See? So all those things are pre-sale. That's the language of the blockchain. And so the pre-sale is when people start donating money or bringing money to to invest ahead of time so they can help you reach the soft cap. Okay, the pre-sale
Okay,
helps.
so okay. I have a question? Okay, when I create this like fundraising, okay, this crowdsourcing thing,
Hmm.
what are people actually minting? Are they like what are they minting? Is it part of the AI system or is it part of the data management?
Fundraising. The meeting
Mm-hmm.
is money. Money, you're gonna need it to do all this work, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you are minting is the technology for raising money, fundraising. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so then with that money, you are now going to fund, you say this money is going to be allocated in what you've just said. Data
Yeah.
management is going to be allocated in the AI, those are the uses
Yeah.
of money. But
Yeah.
then you say, how much money do I need to raise? And then do you know how much money, what I call the soft cap is first you understand the uses of funds.
Uh-huh.
And table. You say the uses of funds usually are three levels. There is the development process itself, that
Uh-huh.
means the AI and the whatever else, development, that's called the lab. Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be funded. Then you need
Uh-huh.
to have some workers working with you, not so that you don't die. You can crash doing all this, okay? You need a
Yeah.
few people. And
Uh-huh.
those people, you need to pay them for at least 5 years in order for them to be there. And you need to pay them good salary. So that
Mm-hmm.
is, then you need money for administration, like legal, lawyers, accountants, all those people,
Mm-hmm.
and buying licenses from other people, even understanding how to do the ministries of health and all that. Those are
Mm-hmm.
usually administrative fees. And then you need money for what else? For marketing. You see?
Yeah.
Marketing development, like what's called now.
Actually, that is the major thing because we have a very good product, a great product, I might say, but
Yeah.
nobody actually knows about it.
Yeah. And that
So
is
for
where
me,
the
the
money,
main thing right now is getting some very good marketing around.
it's very expensive. So that's where you need to know now. The marketing you might find is several hundred thousands, because marketing means um, educating people.
Yeah.
Marketing
Yeah.
is educating people in your community how to use. That means if you're making it for hospitals and physicians and
Uh-huh.
then the patients, let's say the population, you would have to go to every hospital talking to the doctors there. And if you're going to meet resistance, they say, we don't want to hear. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you need to have people who are going in those communities and educating people on your behalf. And that's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. So these
Mm-hmm.
are three things. These are, we could call them uses of funds.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have those uses of funds, you say the next thing you need to add in your balance sheet is how this work is going to begin generating revenue. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're marketing, you're going to be doing sales. How does it generate revenue? You have to think about that. And a lot of people, particularly when you're creating something like this, they have not even thought about that. Like, what is the business? When people ask you, what is the business? It means that what are you actually selling? How do you get paid per unit? See that?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very, very hard thing to, like, something you're building, something absolutely new. You may not even know now. Maybe you haven't thought about it. If you go and talk to the doctors, tell them to use it, and they are using it, how are you getting
Mm.
paid? But then there are ways of getting the doctors to use it. They're not paying for it. But then using tokens, you can now figure out how to make that work. Just for example,
Actually,
hmm?
okay, this is why I wanted to apply the blockchain.
Yeah,
The AI system has a very robust memory system. Now,
yeah,
this okay, you can imagine the memory system as a library of some sort, a
yeah.
library that is very smart and it knows where all books are and what each book contains. Now, currently, this library of users' data is running on my own database. Like I have, it's centralized. I am the one who has, yeah, it's not going over the cloud. I am the one who has access. Like I hold all the users' data, but the future should be this data should be decentralized, so that like there should be no one person handling this medical data. So that is the main thing, that is the main part where blockchain will play inside this AI system. So we need a very robust data storage system that is decentralized, and I don't know, people can authenticate like yeah, something like that, where medical data, patients' medical data is decentralized, verifiable, and shareable, and at the same time very secure. So that when you go from a hospital in India to a hospital in Europe, they don't have to do their diagnostics all over again. They just go to the blockchain, they look for for that specific user, and they see your personal data there. If you have allowed access to them, that is. If you have not, you can only share it with the doctor. So the main part where blockchain will play in AI systems is data storage, data storing, and data management.
Yes, and of
So
course, because the blockchain is the internet of money, then for people to access that data, you'll be getting like what Ethereum charges gas fees. So
uh-huh.
there's a fee for every access, and that's how you get paid. Do you see that?
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's
Can you elaborate on that? For him, I'm not sure if he understands that term gas fees.
gas.
We haven't talked about that in previous meetings. Can you elaborate,
Yeah.
please?
So gas, Ethereum, you see, when Bitcoin was made, Bitcoin had no gas. And this is the genius of Mr. Vitalik Buterin. When they made Ethereum, they said this Ethereum has to be making money all by itself. Like when I transfer one token from my wallet to another wallet, it requires gas fees. It's like the way you put gas in your petrol in your vehicle when you're driving. And so now when you make an AI system like this that's got information that doctors need, and then every time anybody accesses that information, he needs some gas, his gas, and that gas is in your token. The same token you have minted, so the token itself can now, in smaller fraction, is called gas. And that gas is now the money that comes to fund your business. You see that? So that's the
And
big.
is there a way of like I
Hmm?
don't know, like creating NFTs on that blockchain so that let's say I have some very unique medical data I want to sell to maybe Harvard, I don't know, Aga Khan. Like I have some very specific data, but I would like to monetize it. So is there a way of like minting NFTs using this very specific data so that like people can, like we can create data as a service or something like that, like people can sell and buy data freely and openly, not like right now the way it happens secretly between big organizations.
Oh, yes. Now that's what the blockchain comes in. That data, first of all, is tokenized data. And tokenized mean NFT, as you said, non-fungible token. So people can buy rights to have that data, particularly companies, pharmaceutical companies, they love that. They love all that data because they want to see the distribution of diseases so they can manufacture medicines that are specific to the certain diseases. So, yeah. So that's what the blockchain will be very powerful to do all that. And you see that data, besides now the gas fees, then you also have the token fees, tokenization of the data itself. Because I'm here in Massachusetts. That's the biggest industry in Boston. Is about these pharmaceutical companies. They spend the whole day buying health data from companies, from healthcare organizations.
Yeah,
Yeah, patient data. So you know how many people have got diabetes around here. Yeah, how many
yeah,
people have got here? Yeah, how many
yes,
people have got hypertension? So they can say yeah, so they manufacture medicines. You know, like what's called um customer profiling. So
yeah,
you have a lot of data for customer profile, and you want to tokenize that, then people can buy that data. They can buy rights to use the data to manufacture their own medicine. Mhm.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, those were the questions I had. Basically, the blockchain, people should be able to buy and sell data freely and openly, and everybody, I mean everyone, not just big organizations, anyone can make profits from their data. The second thing is that medical data is free and open and verifiable, so um, doctors can learn from other doctors, patients can share with other patients, and all this proliferation of knowledge and data. Actually, there's a lot of knowledge, medical knowledge in Africa, but none of it is documented or stored anywhere. So if we can somehow capture all this, I see it as a gold treasure. Like it will be a lot in the future, a lot of money.
It's a lot more than gold. I can tell you that its value is bigger than the gold.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, let's now give Mubale a few minutes. Hello, Dr. Mbale. We are now.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello.
How are you, David?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, tell us the news, any updates, news.
Any happenings? This week, early in the week, I flew to Cape Town and met an ambassador of one African country, and they were very receptive to my idea of setting up a hospital in their country, or doing some medical work, surgical work in their country. So what I'm looking at is how I can get the logistics in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
This ambassador, is he aware that we are talking about blockchain for fundraising for that project?
No,
Okay.
this was more or less, I was talking of the, what do you call it? The technical aspect, not the financial aspect.
Yes.
Mm.
All right. So just in any case, in the technical aspect, they want, and then so we continue working. So yeah, I think later on I will call you so we can discuss more in details about that conversation, Dr. Mbali. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah. Maybe tomorrow, Sunday. Sunday after you go to
That'd
church,
be fine.
we'll talk about projects. Well, did you know we're not allowed to talk about projects on the Sabbath day?
I talk about projects all the time. I go
Even-
to church and I pray all the time. So I need to.
Yeah, that is the Old Testament. Remember, in the New Testament, Jesus said that even David, when he appeared in that in the temple on the Sabbath day, he went with his soldiers and they ate the temple bread on the Sabbath day. I don't know what he meant by that. All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mubale. Now I think we're almost out of time, and so Derek, you're up next week, and so I'll contact you during the week so we can talk about the more details of putting the finance program. How we can do this.
Okay.
And so Dr. Mbale, I also call you tomorrow. We talk about your experience. So we keep on building up on this. And what we need to do is, first of all, educate people about the blockchains, because it is in the blockchain that value that is greater than the gold is in the blockchain, and we need to understand how to use it, all of us. So
Yes.
if there's no other questions, I think we're going to stop there. We've been here for almost 2 hours, but it's been very, very productive. I mean, according to me. So anyone's I could just forget. Jonathan, yeah.
It's been very informational. I love the vision. I would love to keep coming to these meetings to see how I can keep learning more and how I can contribute possibly.
Oh, thank you. So, any final word for closing?
I don't have any specific thing, of concern or any questions, but I would like to, summarize everything revolving or concerning the courses and the classes and the dates and pacing, so people who maybe were not here last week, they can understand our timelines and just pacing, how many weeks per course. If you can just go over that, we do have some time for that. You can just remind people how that structure works.
Okay. In terms of now, we have these weekly sessions. It's 9:30 in Boston, Eastern Standard Time. 9:30 in Boston. Now, I don't know, depending on your time zone, it's gonna be like how we started today, and I think that we should do this every week on 9:30, because that was very good time. Last week we came too early. The library was not open, so we were kind of crashing in. But 9:30 is convenient, it's comfortable, and then we can spend 2 hours, which we shall be booking 2 hours, but the meeting could be shorter, but the 2 hours is maximum we have. And then we're gonna be unpacking topics by topic, and of course, it's up to you, members in the community out there, to bring topics we can discuss upon, so that we can actually start formulating the smart contracts for fundraising. How do we use the blockchain? Because that's the idea. How do we use the blockchain to finance your vision? Remember bringing that new heaven into the new earth. And then I want to give you an assignment. Go and read Revelation 21. All right? Revelation 21, and then I saw a new heaven into a new earth. What John was talking about is exactly what we are saying. Bringing something from your imagination, from your dream, to make it manifest on earth. It becomes real. And that's what John is talking about. So this work, John says in Revelation 8, is not for the unbelievers. If you don't believe it, don't bother. It is not even for the abominables. Abominables are those people who are saying one thing and they're doing something different. Those are not admitted here. Those ones are going to see, they're going to have their time in the lake of fire, according to John. So the abominables, the unbelieving, the faithless. If you don't have faith in this kind of things, that's called innovation or bringing the new heaven to the new earth. It is not for you, but it's only for you if you believe that you can bring your vision into reality. You can bring your new heaven descending down into the new earth. And that new heaven to the new earth, according to John, was descending like a bride. And he called it the New Jerusalem. That means if you want your New Jerusalem, you have to have faith in yourself. You have to believe, because it's not for the unbelievers. Every
Okay.
Saturday.
With the remaining time, I just remembered I did have something that I wanted to have expanded on here, and that would be our second course that is focused on smart contracts. I would like people to understand the power of smart contracts. You know, once you get past the basics, which everyone should do, the power really starts in course 2, and smart contracts is where most of the power comes from. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, smart contracts are what now Derek we just talked about. Because by the time we are working with Derek, you're going to be building smart contracts for fundraising. Smart contracts here, I think the smart contracts that are going to emerge from, say, Derek's project, are the smart contract for building the token, for the AI for health token. And then smart contract for tokenization of information, tokenization of data that we call IP, tokenization of intellectual property. The data that's so these smart contracts, and then the fee mechanism, what I told you, that every time somebody watches, accesses, opens up the record, you get a fee. You know, those gas fees. So that smart contract, it can be all one smart contract. So Binance Chain is very clever. You're able to put all that into one smart contract. Those are called functions on the smart contract. You can say, now create me a smart contract that is going to mint token, is going to be to create the fees, what's called the fees, the gas fees, and is going to do what? That is going to do the third thing, which we talked about, tokenization of the information. Yeah. So now for you, if you have a specific project, then that's going to be teaching that in the second level intermediate blockchain course. Intermediate blockchain course is where we talk about specific smart contracts like those.
The reason why it's so powerful is because, and for those who may not understand like this term smart contract, it's basically it's basically an automated assistant or multiple assistants. As you said, you can have multiple functions or tasks performed. These things or these tasks, they happen automatically by the contract. The contract is an agreement. The automation is all code, it's programmed into the contract, and you can set it to do whatever you want. You can say, hey, collect gas fees this way, or tokenize this particular, concept this way. You can program whatever comes to mind, and then the smart contract handles it as if it was like a vending machine. When you have a vending machine, you set it up, in a stadium, a football stadium, and you walk away, and then you come back next week and collect the money, and all that automation happens when you are away, and the only thing you might have to do is little maintenance, but pretty much is fully automated, and that's the power of smart contracts. So to scale, it helps you scale, it helps you focus your energies in other parts of your business, and also it has security 24/7. If you built that into the contract. So you would build security, you would build everything into it and have it run everything on that side of your business.
Awesome. Yeah. So that's a smart contract. Yes.
All right. So
the smart contract is the whole business.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments, questions? I mean, I think if there's no question, we can adjourn the
Yes, we can
meeting
adjourn.
until next week. So Frida, any comments?
No, we don't have any other comments. I think, yeah, we can adjourn the meeting to next week, Saturday at 4:30 p.m. That's East African time, and that's 9:30 Eastern in Boston time.
All right.
So thank you very much, everyone, for your participation today, and have a great weekend.
Awesome.
Perfect.